Welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you're tuning in right now, chances are you've been feeling kind of off lately, right? You're dealing with these truly confusing physical and emotional changes, and honestly, you just want to know what on earth is going on with your own body. Hey, we completely get it. Today, we're going to crack the case on a medical mystery that frustrates literally millions of women, yet is almost never explained clearly. We're talking about perimenopause testing. So, are you waking up in the middle of the night, completely drenched in sweat? Or maybe your periods are suddenly just showing up whenever they feel like it. Honestly, maybe your mood is shifting without any warning whatsoever, or you're just bone tired, but incredibly, you still can't sleep. Look, I really want to validate exactly what you're going through right now. Your symptoms are 100% real. Your body is trying to signal that a major shift is happening. Naturally, your very first instinct is to run to the doctor and say, hey, just give me a simple test to confirm this. But as you'll see, that's where the mystery really begins. All right, before we start analyzing any lab results, let's actually define the core suspect of our investigation here, perimenopause. So what is it? Basically, it's the transitional phase your body goes through right before menopause. It typically kicks off in a woman's early to mid-40s, though honestly, the exact timing varies wildly from person to person. And here's the kicker. This isn't just some quick weekend event. It can last anywhere from a few months to literally several years. It only officially ends when you've gone 12 full consecutive months without a period. Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our playbook for today. We're going to uncover the perimenopause mystery, see exactly why a single test fails, introduce your hormone lineup, figure out the right timing, reveal a really surprising pregnancy test twist, and finally, help you build your taking charge action plan. All right, section 1, the perimenopause mystery and why clinical assessment is key. You know, human nature is that we naturally just want a simple test to give us a straightforward yes or no answer. But the human body? Yeah, it doesn't really work that easily. Diagnosis during this transition actually relies on a much broader clinical assessment. A good doctor is going to look at your actual lived symptoms, your menstrual history, your age, and your overall health. They're not just looking at a single blood test. Sure, lab tests give us some really great supporting clues, but a doctor who truly understands perimenopause, they will never ever rely on those numbers alone without actually listening to you. In fact, for women over 45, the symptoms alone are often completely enough to make a diagnosis. Moving on to section 2, why one test fails. It's all about fluctuating hormones. So why exactly is relying on a single blood draw such a flawed strategy? Well, it's because we all kind of expect our hormones to just gracefully decline in this nice, straight, highly predictable line. But the reality? Oh, the reality is an absolute roller coaster. Hormones rise and fall completely unpredictably. They fluctuate wildly month to month, sometimes even week to week. Think of a single blood test like a photograph, just one single snapshot of a much larger, super chaotic movie. You could have a hormone that is sky high on a Tuesday and perfectly normal by Friday. That one snapshot, it tells you almost nothing about the big picture. Let's get into section 3, the hormone lineup, featuring 7 key biomarkers. Okay, so if one test isn't enough, what is? Well, here is your full panel of 7 key hormones to investigate. We're looking at FSH, estradiol, LH, progesterone, AMH, TSH, and testosterone. Honestly, you might want to literally take a screenshot of this right now. This is your comprehensive panel. When you go into your doctor's office, this is the exact lineup of suspects you want them to investigate, rather than just pulling one random marker. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how these hormones behave during the transition. Take a look at that middle column. FSH, which is basically the hormone trying to trigger ovulation, is rising and fluctuating wildly. Luteinizing hormone, or LH, is also going up as ovarian function starts to decline. Meanwhile, estradiol, your primary estrogen, is generally dropping, but again, super variable. And progesterone? That drops because you aren't ovulating regularly anymore. And let me tell you, that drop in progesterone is a huge reason why you might be experiencing those terrible sleep problems and sudden spikes in anxiety. And then we have our final 3 suspects to complete the puzzle. So why are we testing TSH? Because thyroid problems are incredibly common in women, and they frequently mimic perimenopause symptoms like fatigue and heat intolerance. We absolutely have to rule that out. Then there's AMH, which reflects your remaining egg supply. It doesn't fluctuate nearly as much, so it's a nice, stable marker. And finally, testing testosterone gives us a really good baseline, because low testosterone perfectly explains the fatigue, the low libido, and that frustrating brain fog so many women get. All right, section 4, timing your tests right. let's talk about when to test. Now, here is a massive pitfall you need to watch out for. Running the absolute right tests on the wrong day will completely ruin your evidence. Timing makes a huge difference here. If you are still having regular periods, you have got to test FSH, LH, and estradiol in the early follicular phase. Specifically, that means days 2 to 5 of your cycle, with day 3 being the absolute gold standard. Progesterone, that needs to happen on day 21. Now, obviously, if your periods are completely absent or just all over the place, there's no reliable cycle to time against, so in that case, testing can happen on pretty much any day. And look, I know at-home urine and saliva tests are incredibly popular right now, and they're super convenient. They can actually be great for gathering some initial intel and giving you that push to go seek help. But please keep this in mind. They are just a starting point. They are not a final verdict. Because of those wild hormonal fluctuations we just talked about, at-home kits just do not replace a full clinical blood work assessment ordered by a professional.
Okay, section 5, the pregnancy test twist. Let's look at false positives.
Okay, this is honestly one of the craziest plot twists women in their 40s face. Look at this number, 10.6%. No way, right? Studies show that up to 10.6% of non-pregnant women in the perimenopausal and postmenopausal stages can actually trigger a false positive pregnancy test. How on earth is that possible? Well, pregnancy tests look for a hormone called HCG. And during perimenopause, your pituitary gland can actually get a little confused and produce small amounts of HCG all on its own. So if you get a positive test, but your symptoms are screaming perimenopause, take a breath, don't panic. You just need a blood-based test from your doctor to confirm what's really going on. Finally, Section 6, taking charge next. Time for your action plan. So the crucial point is, now that you actually understand the pitfalls, how do you advocate for yourself? Well, you're going to follow this chronological action plan. Step 1, keep a symptom diary for 4 to 8 weeks. Write it all down, the hot flashes, the mood shifts, the sleepless nights. Step 2, book an appointment with a menopause specialist. Step 3, do not settle for a single FSH check. Request that comprehensive blood test panel we went over. Step 4, make sure you time those tests correctly based on your cycle. Step 5, review your results in the context of your actual lived symptoms. And Step 6, if your results look quote-unquote normal, but you still feel totally awful, go back and retest in 3 to 6 months. I want to leave you today with this incredibly powerful quote from our sources. Normal test results do not rule out perimenopause. Honestly, this is the absolute most important thing to take away from this. If your blood work comes back normal, but your symptoms are disrupting your life, you are not crazy. Remember, a normal snapshot isn't the whole movie. Take this knowledge, advocate for your own health, and demand a doctor who looks at the complete picture of who you are. So tell me, the next time your doctor tells you your single blood test is perfectly normal, what evidence will you present to crack your own case?